number 5 met Javinsky of Hofstra number 5.
Yeah, a little double nickel there.
There you go.
And here they come. They're coming right at you. Mortally takes the pitch. He gives the pitch to G, and G tries to turn it up inside, but Javinsky makes a great hit, knocking G down and puts him on his head.
You have G number 5 and Javinsky number 5 for Hofstra. Mortally running the club, 1st and 10 from the 25. Movement on the Hofstra side. Mortally rolling left, looking back over the middle. Pass broken up by Hofstra's number 6, Jimmy Salgado.
Salgado saw a lot of action last week. You know, his first start in a long time last week, and Cortland State really tried to test him. And he really rose to the challenge last week, made some great plays. Trenton State tries to go right after him here today, and he's up for the challenge.
You know, a lot of people might say, how come Hofstra is on the road if they were the number 1 seed and Trenton State number 4? Well, Trenton State played on the road last week against Ithaca. NCAA rule, you cannot play 2 straight road games in the playoffs. Thus, Trenton State with the home field advantage today. Mortally back to throw. Broken up by number 34, George Tischler, again making things happen on defense for Hofstra. Intended receiver 82, Anthony Johnson.
Anthony Johnson, the big tight end for this Trenton State team. You know, he's a real load out there. He's 6'3", 260 pounds, and Mortally likes to look to him coming across the middle. He's a big target, but he tried to force it into coverage right there, and he was lucky to get away with only an incompletion on that pass.
Mortally, 3 of 8, 19 yards, has 1 interception in this first quarter of play that has 2:40 left on the clock, 3-0 Hofstra. Millard in motion to the far side. Mortally looking, and in and out of the hands of Millard, broken up by number 28, Joe Rizzo.
Boy, that was really a great throw by Mortally. You know, here's Millard. We're looking at a little out and up, and they're clearing out the zone, and Millard's going to go right underneath, and the ball was right there, and Millard just couldn't hang on to it. He dropped it with the big hit from Rizzo.
Scott Osborne, 3 of 7 on the season to attempt a 42-yard field goal. His long on the season, 34 yards. The holder is Greer Wolf, number 12. Snap, the kick, and it appears, and it is good. So Osborne answers Bob Bolert's field goal, tied up at 3 in the first quarter. A line drive of a kick appeared, it looked like to be wide right, but it found the upright.
Yeah, and I think Osborne probably played that in pre-game warm-up. You know, the wind is blowing kind of at an angle from his right to left. It looked like he started it out just to the right, and the wind brought it back into the middle of the goalpost, and they got 3 points on the board.
So they answer the call of Bob Bolbert, and Osborne knots it up.
You know, and there was a real good hole by Greer Wolf here. The ball was a little inside, and the wind has an effect, and you can see it starts off to the right, and it's just bending back to the left. And he knew it was good.
Little sigh of relief as it started to come back and went through the uprights.
He just said, "That's how I played it, Coach. I knew it was going to come back in there."
Got to be happy. You got to be, you know, that first attempt in the game, you get it in there and you get it through. It's got to give you that extra push for the rest of the football game. The scoring drive is 9 plays, 28 yards, took almost 3.5 minutes. Osborne, 42-yard field goal set up by the interception of Bellotti from Rory Moss.
And that is a key coming into the game when this Hofstra team, they're going to turn the ball over. It's a high-risk type of an attack, and when you get turnovers, you've got to turn them into points. And right there, Trenton State takes the interception and puts 3 points on the board.
Be interesting now to see how Trenton State comes out defensively and how Rory Moss will react, having thrown 2 interceptions here in this first quarter. A bouncing kick. It's loose on the deck. Picked up by number 87, Mike Scheibe. And maybe to the 30-yard line where Hofstra will put it in 1st and 10 with 2:22 to play first quarter.
And I think after that opening kickoff, Eric Hamilton said, "We're not going to give the ball to Mark Cox anymore down there deep," and he just squibbed it down the field. Even though he had the wind at his back, he elected to squib it down the field to the up men and tackle him around the 30-yard line.
The lone setback, 44, Brian McGee for Hofstra. 2 wideouts to the right, 2 2 to the left. Moss gives to McGee, looking for running room. Makes his way up to the 35-yard line. Pickup of about 590, Greg Bruno.
We're in the Trenton State huddle here. They're working on
man. Let's go. We got it. Hey, leg drive on contact. You got to really cut these guys down on waggle. Good job out there, Sean. They're making too much. Hey, moves. Anytime you come in, either this guy comes hard or this guy comes hard. This guy stays tall. This guy's playing.
Second down and 6, gain of 4. Moss, he's going to tuck it and run. Gets away from one man, crossing the 35 and run out of bounds at the 38. 26. Stephen Malloy with a tough shot as Moss went out of bounds, and I think Hofstra was looking for a flag.
Yeah, I think they're looking for a flag, but I think what happened is Moss started to slow down before he got to the sideline. And I know from playing in the NFL, you don't slow down until you get to the sideline and get out of bounds. Here it is. He scrambles Trenton State, trying to put the pressure on him, and Moss scrambles up inside, and he shows you his great speed as he gets to the outside. But we'll see him right here. He starts to gear up. It looks like he hurt his ankle, and he took a shot right on the sideline.
And there was apparently a flag that was thrown.
They're going to call it a penalty, but, you know, it was clear right there. Moss was slowing down before he got out of bounds, and those Trenton State defenders, they're allowed to hit the guy when he's on the field to play.
Rory Moss, 3 of 8, 26 yards, 2 interceptions in this football game. It's 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line of Trenton State, 1:39 to play in the first quarter. Moss barking out signals, and a lot of movement and flags all over. Now, did Hofstra draw? 63 Salgado might have moved on Hofstra.
Hofstra had a lot of problems with this last week. Offsides, their linemen moving a little bit early, and Moss is down there at the line of scrimmage, and they come out and try to read things from the quarterback's perspective, check off into different type of pass patterns. Trent was showing a blitz there. It looked like Moss was trying to check out of it, and the lineman just got a little bit antsy, but they're going to call it on Trenton State. They're going to say there was contact before Salgado moved, and they're saying, I've never seen this call before, Carl. This is... Either you have illegal procedure or you have offsides, but you can't have both.
Well, Robert Nelson, the referee, working the football game today. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 47. We'll do it all over again. 1.5 to play. Wayne Morris in motion to the near side. Again, movement. Moss looking far side. And it is almost picked off in and out of the hands of Darrell Linder. Should have had that because it was thrown right into his number.
Yeah, it hit him right in the chest. But if you look at the shadows of the ball players out there, he's looking right back into the sun on that play. And, you know, here's the play. He's going up the field to Cocozello, or Kyoko. And Moss tries to loft it, but he didn't put enough loft on that ball. Hit Linder right in the chest, and he bounced up and... incomplete pass.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 47. The give to Cox, and he loses yardage. 23. Greg Bellotti making the stop at the Hofstra 48-yard line. A loss of about 3.
Yeah, it was Bellotti making the stop, but it was a host of other Trenton State players in there. They came all-out blitz. They just reestablished that line of scrimmage about 4 or 5 yards back, and there was just no place to run with that ball.
Trenton State showing why they are ranked #1 in the country in defense. Split out to the near side, number 80, Chris Cocoziello. To the far side, 88, Frank Cuco. Moss back. Moss has his receiver, but it is knocked down. Darren Doss was right there putting Mark Cox on the carpet.
That's right. Moss made the throw, but Doss made the play on that one. And they've been coached to look for that screen, and Doss is the guy who's supposed to look for it. And as soon as he saw the screen play coming in there, he went right to it and made the stick.
Mark Cox in punt formation for Hofstra. First punt in the game for Mark Cox. Clock winding down. 12 seconds to play. They might take a delay and try to get the win. There's 5 seconds and 4, and there is a flag, and it will be a delay of game called on Hofstra.
Now, that's a big break for this Trenton State team because they're still going to force Hofstra to kick into the stiff wind. And I think Joe Gardy was hoping that the clock would run down so he could get the wind at his back to open the second quarter with Cox punting.
So Cox will line it up again, back to receive the snap at his own 30-yard line. 3-3 the score. Trenton State and Hofstra, second round NCAA Division III playoff game. 4 seconds left on the clock. And the official coming over to the near side talking with Eric Hamilton.
He wants to put a few seconds back on the clock.
It looks like
they're going to be 6 seconds when he punts.
Number 2, Kyle Anderson, and number 5, Billy G. G to the far side of the field to receive this punt. Standing at their own 25.
Now they're looking into the sun here. You can see them shading their eyes, so they're going to have to be very careful. Not only is the wind a factor on this punt, but the sun is going to be a big factor.
Cox hits the ball, low spiral. Billy G has it, backtracking at his own 20, looking to turn the corner near side. And knocked out of bounds at about his own 27-yard line. 49, Scott Millington. 35-yard punt, 8-yard return. And that punt concluded the first quarter of play here at Lions Stadium. We are tied at 3. Hofstra and Trenton State will be back with second quarter action right after this timeout.
There are times when you think of family, long gone. How you're 40 or 45 or older and time has passed by and you've got this empty feeling and how terrible it is. How little you really know about your own family because you never got around to asking. What a loss if you never knew how they got here, who they traveled with or left behind, or what they had in their pockets, where they were going. Could they have done it all when they were just 6 or 7? Family History Center at Ellis Island will be your second chance. Your support will help us computerize records of 17 million immigrants. Help you discover your past. Family History Center can be just a dream, or it can be a place to learn more about your past than you ever dreamed of. It's up to you. You can let your past slip away, or you can grab this incredible gift. Support the center. Make it happen.
Back here at Lions Stadium, campus of Trenton State College, Carl Reuter along with Scott Bruner, and Scott tied at 3 after the first quarter of play.
Yeah, I think, a matter of both teams just feeling each other out. They're trying to see what the other teams are presenting them with, and going to make adjustments into the second quarter. That's the difference in Division III and these upper levels. You don't have the time and you don't have the resources to get the film in and to look at things and to develop game plans and things like that. You go out there with your best players, you run your game plan, and you make adjustments during the game. And I'm sure we'll see adjustments as this game goes along.
One of the adjustments that these teams have to make is during the course of the year, they might play with 80 or 90 players. NCAA rules, you can only dress 48 players. So now you're talking about 40 or 50 players that you had access to during the season that no longer can be on the sideline.
That's right, and it's not only the matter of them playing, but it's the camaraderie that you really develop on the sidelines, because a lot of those guys, they're not going to see that much action during the game, but they're bringing a lot of intensity to the sideline, bringing a lot of morale, and emotion is so important in a game of football, and you lose a little bit of that in the playoff because you're losing half your ball players.
That's indeed true. As Trenton State comes running back onto the field. Total yards in the first quarter pretty equal. Hofstra 66 and Trenton State 64. First and 10 for Trenton State from their own 27-yard line. The quarterback is Steve Mortalite, number 18. Mortalite on the inside handoff. Maybe a yard. 73, Jim McKeon in there. One man for Hofstra.
That interior of that Hofstra defense is so tough with McKeon and Barry in there at the tackle positions, and Tischler backing them up in case anything happens. Trenton State just tried to run a simple dive. They're trying to establish that fullback inside, but those two guys were up to the challenge that time and held them for only a yard.
Eric Anderson was the runner for Trenton State, who stopped by Jim McKeon. Second down and 8. Mortalite back to throw. has some running room, now sets up, has some time over the middle. Intended receiver number 82, Anthony Johnson, but he overthrew him. Coverage by number 11, Chris Vilkauskas.
I don't know who that was for. There's a flag down there. It looks like we're going to get roughing the passer in that play. There were 3 Trenton State receivers down there deep, and Mortley, showed you his arm strength because he's throwing into that strong wind, and he put it out there, a good 40, 45 yards into the wind and overshot everybody.
The preliminary signal is roughing the passer against Hofstra.
Call should be roughing the passer. Robert Nelson, the referee.
That's a 15-yard penalty.
15-yard penalty, so it'll be walked off against the Flying Dutchman.
Joe Gardy has to feel pretty good about the way that first quarter went. He's into the wind. He has everything against him. He's going against the #1 defense in the country, and he's tied 3-3, and now he has the wind at his back into the second quarter, and he has an opportunity to get great field position, and then you get a penalty like that, and it just gives the field position right back to Trenton State.
Ball, as you talk about field position, resting on the 44-yard line. Mortley to give to Russ Horton, finding his way over the 50 to the 45-yard line of Hofstra. Jim McKeon, 73, Bill Deacons, 45 combined.
And Horton just takes that little sweep play, and he got to the outside, and it looks like they're trying to run wide, but he's really not. It's really an off-tackle play, and he turned it up inside real nicely, broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and busted it for what looks to be a first down. They're going to bring the chains in here, and we're going to measure it.
Horton
here it is, the fake up inside, and there's Tischler. Horton shows you his strength because he just shrugs Tischler right off. But he can't get away from the rest of the Hofstra defense.
Too many people there.
And they gang tackle him, but not. He's going to be short, so it's 2nd down and 1, and this is a situation where sometimes if you're a little bit gutsy, you like to take a shot at a deep one.
So in other words, you being a quarterback would like to go up top here.
Yeah, this is your typical waist down, and you've been running the ball pretty well, so as a quarterback, let's run a little play action, maybe take a shot deep and get this Hofstra team off balance and try to strike quickly, but make sure you don't take a sack. That's the one thing you can't do.
Well, they have on the scoreboard 2nd and 1. It's really more like 2nd and inches, the indication made by referee Robert Nelson. That's John Millard, 38, will come into your picture now, going back into the huddle. Coming out is Russ Horton. So Millard obviously bringing in the play from the sideline. Split out to the near side is Kyle Anderson. 2nd and inches. Millard in motion. Rizzo, the ball carrier, crossing the 45, should have enough for the first down. Again, 73, Jim McKeon coming up to make the stop.
Well, that time Eric Hamilton opted not to go for the big play. He knows that he has to put some time-consuming drives here together. He's going to take first downs whenever he can get them and not risk the opportunity of for Hofstra to get in there, get a sack, and really throw his offense back. And he's got a nice drive going right here.
You talk about keeping the drive alive and taking time off the clock. At the same time, you're resting your defense, which is the #1 defense in the country. So they should be fresh come the end of the game, the 3rd quarter and 4th quarter, if things go accordingly. Mortley rolling out. Wide open sidelines. Bill Donahue. John Zankin on the coverage. 15-yard pickup to the Hofstra 27-yard line.
And there it is, Mortley getting to the outside. When we stepped into the Trenton huddle, they want to get Mortley outside. Mortley just gets his shoulders and feet upfield, makes a nice throw in there to Donahue, catches it right on the sideline, slides out of bounds for the first down. And now Trenton State, 29-yard line, they're knocking at the door.
They mark at the 29, as Scott says, 1st and 10, 13-10 to play in this first half, 3-3 to score. Bullard for Hofstra, Osborne for Trenton State exchanged field goals in that first quarter. Miscommunication on the handoff. Eric Anderson throwing for a loss. Michael Barry coming up and reading the play.
It looked like Anderson slipped a little bit. We had a lot of rain here last night, and the field's a little bit damp. Anderson, tries to take the handoff. He looked like he was trying to cut back against the grain before he got the ball slipped, and he loses 3 yards. And that's a tough play for this offense. They want to pick up yardage on first down, and Hofstra, they get their goal. They throw Trenton State for a sack or a no gain on that play.
2nd down and 13 from the 32. 12 and a half to play in this first half. Back to throw. Working long, stepping up and picking it off is number 11, Chris Vilkakis. So Hofstra on the turnover, Mortalit throwing the interception, and Chris Vilkakis is able to come up with it.
You know, that interception was just caused by pressure by that Hofstra front four. Mortalit, little bootleg, fakes up inside, and he rolls out to the right. And there you got Scully, he's standing in there, and you got Brady, he's fighting off the blocker and really forcing Mortalit to throw sooner than he wants. Mortalit just underthrows it, and Vilkakis comes up with the interception, and this Hofstra defense shuts the door against Trenton State.
So it's a 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line, Hofstra's own 14-yard line. Ball carrier is Mark Cox, maybe crossing the 15-yard line. Stopped by number 67, Kent Schilling. See what Rory Moss can do with the wind here, Scott, in the second quarter.
Sure does, but you know, just to get back to the interception, it's not bad throwing interceptions deep in the other person's territory, because what Trenton State wants to do is they want to make Hofstra go the length of the field, and that's what they do. Even though it's a turnover, it's not a real bad turnover for this Trenton State team.
Moss again to throw. Millington, and he is hammered by Darrell Linder at the 22-yard line.
Darrell Linder's having a great game here today. They seem to be going to that right side where Darrell is lined up, and he's come up with the interceptions. He's knocked down passes, and that time he shows you what kind of hitter he is as Millington bobbles the ball, and he just chopped them down.
3rd down and 1. Hofstra is 2 of 4 on 3rd down conversions in the football game. 11:20 to play in this first half. Driver, the fumble. Moss on the recovery, but they'll have to kick it away. The hit by Franklin Rouse, number 41 of Trenton State.
And what a hit by Franklin Rouse. He comes in there on the blitz. Nobody blocked him, and right as driver gets the handoff. But we're going to see it. Just a little simple play, simple dive play to the outside. Nobody hits Rouse, and he puts his head right on the football, shakes it free, but Moss is there to make the recovery.
Mark Cox to attempt his second punt. First time around, 35 yards. Snap is there. And a low spiraling kick, and Billy G lets it roll. Has it at his own 27-yard line and falls at the 25-yard line. Good coverage by Hofstra. Number 60, Chris Fryer getting down there. 54-yard punt for Mark Cox.
Now, there's Rouse. He's coming off the field, and he's feeling real big after that hit. He's unbuckling his helmet. It looked like he unbuckled Driver's helmet on that last hit. But that was a good stand by that Trenton defense. But again, Cox, he's playing a part in this game. Not, you don't know it, but he comes up with a 50-yard punt, 54-yard punt, and backs Trenton State way back in their own territory.
Anytime he has the football, whether it be offensively or defensively, Mark Cox can help the Hofstra Flying Dutchman. So Steve Mortalit has the football back in his hands. 1st and 10. Ball on the 25 of Trenton State. 10:25 to play first half. Knotted up at 3. Movement and flags all over. Let them sort this one out again. Did Hofstra Trenton State move? Was Hofstra drawn off? Robert Nelson talking it over. Man in the white cap.
Well, Hofstra got in there, and they got up there, and they were all up at the line of scrimmage and pressuring Mortalit to check off and change the play at the line of scrimmage, and it looked like there was a little bit of confusion, and they forgot what the snap count was, and it's going to be a legal procedure against this Trenton State team.
So they'll push it back on the 5-yard penalty to the 20-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 15 for Trenton State. Greer Wolf coming in with a play from the sideline. Joe Gordy watching his troops, and then tied up.
Important series here for this Hofstra defense. If they can shut down Trenton State, they can get good field position. On the other hand, this Trenton State offense wants to get a couple of first downs.
1st and 15. Again, movement. And not much there. And a loose football. Jim McKeon has the football, and it is Hofstra's ball. Jim McKeon come out of the pack with the football. Scully also in there with McKeon.
Looked like Rizzo just took the handoff up the middle. Simple handoff, a dive play, and just like last week, the Hofstra defense turns the ball over deep in the opponent's territory and gives this offense a short field to work with and the opportunity to put some points on the board.
So Jim McKeon making the big defensive play. Eric Hamilton talking it over with his troops on the sideline. Hofstra now with great field position at the Trenton State 19-yard line. Barberite and Cuco split out to the near side. Barberite 22 in motion. Moss looking to the right side. Out in the backfield, it's Cox at the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Mark Cox.
There he is. Mark Cox, the guy we're talking about. This is the first time he's really put his hands on the ball offensively. He makes a little catch out of the backfield, about a 5-yard catch. And just turns on the speed and gets up the sideline for a touchdown. And that's a happy young man. And now he's going to go hold for the extra point.
Hold for the extra point. The 19-yard touchdown reception. Moss to Cox. Bob Bowler to attempt the extra point. Hofstra by 6 at 9-3. They'll look to extend 10-3. Bad snap. Cox has trouble. And he gets away. Throws a football. Now this could go for the 2. Darrell Linder with it. Cuts to the far outside. Has one man to beat. That's Joey Driver. To the 20. And knocked out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. Joey Driver fought off the block and came back and knocked Darrell Linder out of bounds.
Great effort by Joey Driver right there. It looked like Linder had the whole sideline in front of him. Nobody there. And Driver showed you some great speed and effort and fought through a blocker and knocked Linder out of bounds on the sideline.
That's great effort by Joey Driver because it looked like Linder had the entire far side of the field. There's the bad snap. I think Cox just fumbled it.
Yeah, it's not a bad snap. You know, the wind even plays tricks on those snaps from center on the extra points, and that's what happened there. Cox bobbled it, then he tried to make something happen, and he threw it right to Linder. And you can see Linder, looks like he's running into the wind because he's starting to straighten up a little bit, and Driver knocks him out of bounds.
Mark Cox, the holder on that. Usually Chris Cocoziello is the holder on extra points, but here's the touchdown from Moss to Cox.
And watch this. Cox is just going to come out of the backfield from his fullback position, run into the flat, and Moss just puts it right there, and there's nobody there from Trenton State. Franklin Rouse, who made that last big hit, just couldn't keep up with Cox on that play, and Cox outruns Linder to the pylon.
3 catches, 22 yards, including that touchdown by Mark Cox. Scoring drive, the 19-yard pass from Moss to Cox, 8 seconds, just the one play. 9-3 Hofstra, they missed on the extra point. That almost turned into 2 points for Trenton State.
No, and that's the difference about where you make the turnover on the field. Mortalite's interception deep in Hofstra territory, not a big problem, but the fumble by Rizzo deep in Trenton territory gives this high-powered Hofstra offense the opportunity to strike quickly, and that's what they did with Moss to Cox.
Again, the wind has blown the football off the tee, so Walt Olshansky will tee it up again for Hofstra. 10-10 to play in this second quarter. The deep men, number 2, Kyle Anderson, number 5, Billy G. They might have somebody come in and hold, and yes, they will. Varick Boyd will come in and hold the ball for Olshansky because that is a very stiff wind blowing across the field now here at Lions Stadium.
You know, and so far the Trenton offense has turned the ball over 4 times today, and his defense shows you why they're ranked number 1 in scoring. Because of those 4 turnovers, Hofstra's only come up with 6 points.
So Varick Boyd will hold Olshansky to kick off. Anderson and G, the deep man. Driving Anderson back to his own 4-yard line. They fake the reverse to G. Big hole. It closed up quickly, and Varick Boyd comes up and just trips him up as he approaches the 30-yard line.
We're going to take another look at that TD, the Moss to Cox TD. You're going to see the little motion, and Barberite goes down to the inside. He just creates enough little traffic inside there to tie up Franklin Rouse trying to get outside and cover Cox, and turns into a foot race, and Cox won that race.
You talked about the little traffic that Barberite caused. Those are the intangibles that you really don't see too often. Mortalite. The give to number 38, John Millard, bulling his way over the 30, maybe to the 32-yard line. Larry Brady, 46, making the stop for Hofstra on that first down run.
And Trenton, they're not going to get out of what they're trying to do here today. They're going to have to stick with their game plan. They're right in this ball game. They're only a touchdown behind, and they've been moving the ball pretty well. They just have to eliminate these turnovers.
Coming in is Kyle Anderson. 2nd down and 7 from the 32-yard line of Trenton State. Inside 9.5 to play first half. Billy G in motion. More to leap, rolling right. Looking and overthrowing Kyle Anderson on the far side. Russell Pager, 23. Number 11, Chris Vilkauskas over there also on the coverage.
Morley wishes he had that one back because Anderson was wide open on the sideline. He had a step or two on Vilkauskas, and Morley just overthrew him out of bounds and puts this Trenton offense in a 3rd down and 6, 3rd down and 7 situation, and they want to keep that 3rd down yardage a little bit shorter than that if they can.
You know, one of the assignments for George Tischler today has been to shadow Morley. His assignment is to keep his eye on him and make sure he does not come up with the big play in this football game. 3rd down and 7 for the 32. McKeon gets back. Again, Morley looking, scrambling now, just dumps it off. And he was looking at Eric Anderson, but it'll be incomplete, and it'll be a